Welcome back to Speaking Volumes, where we continue our conversation with Michelle Attias. Michelle, we were talking about coaching. So give me an example of, say, the sort of person that comes in and wants your services.
It's generally the type of person who is ready to live life on very different terms. And that's what's also different with therapy, because people aren't necessarily ready to let go of who they are. As in coaching is a lot more dynamic, and people tend to be ready to take, whether it's their business to the next level, their life, they're tired of living the way they have, they're tired of living or having the type of relationships that they've got, and they now want to move into something that's just better, healthier, and just perhaps become more resourceful as well. And there's a readiness, there's an excitement about moving to the next stage of their life.
Have you seen, in your experience over the years, have you seen big changes of the type of person that comes in, or how people use your services? Do more people, you know, maybe people think that, oh, I don't need this, or with a session with you, they might think, actually, this has changed my life. And has that changed over the time that you've been doing it, and what do you see in the future?
Well, the thing is that when people come for coaching, it's very different to other methodologies, is that people have to be ready, because people have to invest before they begin. It's a program. So it's a certain amount of, whether it's a 3-month, 6-month, a year program, they have to invest before we begin. So they have to feel already that they really want to invest in this, that this is definitely for them. And because of that, I spend time with a prospect before they become a client. Because A, I want to know who I'm investing in, because I do invest in my client. I have a fantastic relationship with my clients. You know, I don't want to be more invested in what they want than they are. So I have to make sure that they are coachable, that they are receptive to feedback. Because a lot of people aren't. So you have to ascertain, is this the right person for coaching, and are they ready? And sometimes people have said, you know, I really would like to come to coaching, but there's always something. Maybe I don't have enough time. Maybe the money's not there. Maybe, and I just let them go, because I know this isn't the right time. And then they'll come back to me 6 months later with the same circumstances, and they'll say, I'm done, I'm ready. So
those people that maybe aren't, you know, aren't sure, or they don't have the finances for it or the time, this is what's ideal about your book, I guess. But how do you put something like that? How do you put it into this? It can't be easy. You must have so many different examples.
I do.
Tell me about your writing day. Do you make notes on? Do you take everything from every session? Do you make? I see you've got blogs on your website. So tell me about your kind of why you decided to write a book and your writing process.
Yes, I've been writing for the past few years, and it came literally by accident. I began to contribute. I became a contributor for different online platforms, online publications. And what I started to notice was that at the beginning, I used to send them an email and say, will it be, you know, I'd love to contribute to your website. But as time went on, they began to ask me, because they saw that the content was changing, and I began to get more fearless as a writer. At the beginning, I was very measured. But I began to, the more I wrote, the more I realized that my whole life, I've always written. Whenever I was going through a difficult time, I wrote. Whenever I was going through an amazing time, I wrote. I always kept diaries as a child, and I always, the whole way through the time when I was bringing up my kids, I have about 8 or 9 journals.
Really?
Of just writing, but I never realized that I was doing it, because this was a way that I best expressed myself. I had no idea. And I thought, 3 years ago, I thought, well, what would it be like if I could publish them? Like, why do I have to keep them to myself? What if I could help somebody through my writing? And so and this is a great way of doing it for anybody who wants to write a book. Start writing blogs, start writing articles for different publications. I tested it. And I saw the reaction that I got. People loved it. And people thought, that's a little bit different kind of way of writing. Because I had a very different type of philosophy, and also from my own experiences. So as time went on, bigger online platforms began to ask me, please, will you write for us? And as I did so, I was getting a huge amount of engagement from readers. I mean, one of the writing platforms I write for, I think it's a startup. They've got about 300,000 subscribers. And
but
so
I've seen that, you've got very good reviews on Amazon.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's amazing. I never expected it. Never expected it. All I went with was, okay, people are engaging with my content. I was getting emails literally from all around the world. I had this guy once contacting me from Chicago airport. He said, I've just gone on LinkedIn. I've just read an article you wrote. I think I'd written something called Self-Doubt Must Be Crushed or something. He said, and it's like you're speaking to me. And so I was getting people contacting me. I had a movie company from LA contacted me, asked me if I wanted to do a reality show based on an article I wrote about divorce. And I saw that, it's like you test something and you see that it's coming to you so easily. You don't have to. So I have a writing practice. I write every morning, early morning, every single day. So I make sure that every single week I churn out a new article. And I put it on different platforms. So I've got, I would say just under 100 articles that I've written over the years. So it's very easy to create a book when you've already got a writing habit.
Yes.
And when you know what's connected with people, because that's what I was doing over the years, is I was connecting and saying, okay, this article, people were like, they were sending me loads of messages about, and they were engaging with, and they were inspired by. These type of articles, not so much. So I began to really pull apart what was working and what wasn't, and what was missing.
It's great to get that instant feedback, though, isn't it?
Yes.
It's wonderful. It's as a writer, because sometimes you're just in the dark, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you just think, have I just spent 3 days doing something, and it's just my own. It's my nobody's going to get me, or I'm not even getting any feedback, and that. But that must be so rewarding. Talking of rewards, you've been nominated for some awards. Tell us about that.
So literally, I had an insight that I needed to start writing, and as I said to you, I started writing for online publications. And within 6 months, I had a nomination for an award as a writer, as a blogger.
Brilliant.
Totally didn't expect it. So that I became a finalist. I didn't win, but I didn't really care. But I was a finalist. And then last year, crazily enough, I was also a finalist for the Best Businesswoman Awards in the Best Coach category. And that was amazing. It was
done.
That was fantastic.
You should be really proud of yourself.
But again, I didn't expect it. I didn't go for it. I didn't, I think that often the most organic, natural things happen far better without effort, that you're not sort of trying to impress people, or you're not trying to write things so that people will think, oh, she's amazing, but actually just to express rather than impress. And people really connect to that more.
Yeah, I think. Do you think that that there's in Gibraltar? Do you think there's an opening for I've seen some advertising for coaching here. I don't know how many people use those services, but we've got, as you know, the population, the culture, everything's shifted quite a bit in the last 30 years. Or 15 years even. So do you think there's a market for it here?
I think there's a market for it everywhere.
Well, yeah.
I think there's a market for everywhere. In America, I spent some time last year doing a course in the US, backwards and forwards. It was a further coaching course, and which was amazing. But I saw that a lot of the coaches that were in my course, which were all American, were working with Fortune 500 companies, with all sorts of very successful companies, with their staff very successfully. And I've seen recently in the UK that they're adopting coaches as well in different companies because of the health and well-being element of it. And also it totally impacts every aspect of the workforce. If a manager can manage better, if he's less reactive or she's less reactive, and if there's less stress, it really shifts the whole department. And so that I've seen in the UK, so there's no reason why that can't be brought to Gibraltar very successfully.
So what are your future plans? Are you going to, well, you're going to continue with your blogs and with your work, but will you be producing another book? What are your plans for the next 2 years? Because you're a spontaneous person that reacts to things and just goes with the flow. So anything, I suppose, could happen.
Anything could happen. So I'm doing a lot of speaking engagements at the moment around London, and I've just been asked to do another speaking engagement in Paris by an American company. How they found me, I don't know, but so I'm going to Paris to do that, and I've got another speaking engagement with an American company as well. So I'm doing a lot of speaking at the moment, more than I've ever done, and I'm in the middle of writing my second book.
Brilliant.
I just want to, I'm having to stop myself because I know that I want to give this book attention, and I want to get it out there, and I want to promote it and really give it the attention it needs. But I am already halfway through the second one, and again, still writing articles every week, coaching clients, and internationally because I do it via Skype. So
brilliant.
Yeah.
So
just doing more of the same.
that young woman filing away once a week in her 20s, listening to everybody's problems, and look at you now. It's a great journey. Well done.
It really is.
Can you please give our viewers a parting shot, something positive for them to take?
I think
forward?
80% of success is showing up, and I've just always shown up. Yep. It doesn't matter where, how. I've always said yes, yes, yes. I'll do this, I'll do that. I'll go for this. I'll learn more so that I can put myself forward for that. I've always been looking, forward and ahead, and what else can I do? How else can I be better? And how else can I show up? And I've always been like that. So even more so in the past, 20 years. So
well,
definitely.
Thank you for showing up tonight and coming on to our show. It's been a pleasure speaking to you, Michelle.
Same here.
Thank you for listening and watching. Good night.